Finally finished up my shelf. It's looking really nice in there. And just out of curiosity, I was just seeing how much food I could potentially put on that shelf, and probably a couple months worth if I really wanted to. I have other things that are probably going to go on the shelf other than food, but all my dry food is going on that shelf. So that's really good. It makes me happy, and it'll keep the van a lot more organized now. So just a general life update. I have been putting in a lot more hours at work, working as much overtime as I can. And the next couple of weeks, I will have even more overtime because it's a peak week, so lots of packages need to go out. In other good news, I also got a small raise, and so that should help a lot with funding my next adventure and funding more repairs for the school bus. But so far, the timing of all this is working perfectly. As you may have noticed, I've been doing tons of work getting things ready to go, getting the bus ready to actually take a trip. I'm about 2 weeks away, at least financially, and then I should be able to actually go somewhere and take a little bit of vacation time. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but I am probably actually going to schedule that within the next week. The only thing that I have really left to finish on this tabletop is the finish on it. I was hoping originally to paint the table kind of matching that orange and blue, but then I started looking at the cost of it, and paint isn't cheap. It's not cheap at all. And for two different colors, there's actually about 3 or 4 different colors on those orange and blue sections. But if I were just to try and sort of match it and use just 2 colors, it would cost me about 3 times as much as it would just to do a simple varnish. And so that's what I'm going to do. Just a simple coat of polyurethane. And the only thing that's holding that up right now is I don't have a stirring stick. It's amazing what little things will derail your project. It's just one of those things, kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. We'd have all these science books where you could do science experiments out of common household items. And I would try to do them and find that I had none of those common household items, so you'd end up having to go out and buy stuff. The same is kind of true here. There aren't any sticks around, which is kind of strange to say, but I'm in an industrial park right now, and so they maintain the grounds pretty meticulously and get rid of all the sticks, which is unfortunate for me. Also, this build didn't generate any sticks. And maybe, you know, if I had my bandsaw or something, I could just slice off a piece of scrap wood here and use that as a stick, but I don't. So I'll have to probably make a trip to Home Depot anyways and get that. The repairs that need to be done next week are to the front suspension. So I think I mentioned previously that I had a ball joint that was failing and a wheel bearing. My usual mechanic, they can't get this kind of work done fast enough. They're actually really slow. They do a good job, but they're super slow. And unfortunately, a lot of mechanics are like that. And because I'm actually living in the vehicle now, I need it done a little more quickly. So I had to get a little bit creative with how I'm going to go about this repair. So I'll do a video on that. It'll come out probably sometime a week from now, a week and a half, something like that, when the repair actually happens. It could be a little bit of an adventure. Could be really straightforward. I don't know. So basically, I just need to get those parts replaced. It could be that there's actually more than one ball joint that needs to be replaced. I don't know. They only told me about one. I was looking under there, and there was one which wasn't the one that they said. That looks kind of questionable to me. I'll talk to the mechanic when he inspects it. Interesting thing is, I was looking at the parts under there, and it's actually nothing I probably couldn't handle myself if I had the tools or the proper location to do this. The thing I would worry about is if I didn't have the right tool, I wouldn't be able to actually complete the repair in a timely manner. And so that's been kind of my concern with that. Also, the wheel bearing I can't really do myself, but the ball joints I probably could. I'm not really driving the bus very much right now. I actually decided to spend the weekend very close to work because those ball joints are getting a little sketchy. I think it's the new tires. They handle a lot better, and so I can actually feel just how kind of messed up the steering is. You can feel it just kind of drifting in and out of alignment. So after I get those repairs done, hopefully next week, I can take it to an alignment shop and we'll get the alignment done and the bus is ready to go, as far as I know anyway. So far, basically everything's going to plan. The only thing that might throw a wrench in it is my battery situation keeps on deteriorating. Um, so I'll have to get a new battery here. I only expected that battery to last about a year, and it's done that. So that's good. The thing is, though, if I'm actually doing a significant amount of driving, I can just plug in my devices directly to the vehicle while I'm driving. And the only thing that would need to run at night really is my refrigerator. And nights are getting colder, and anywhere I would go is probably going to be colder than here. So I'm not too worried about refrigeration. I haven't decided exactly where I'm going yet, but I will be heading out within the next month for sure, probably more like 3 weeks. So that's great news.